Ready?
Hey guys, for this project you were to read a book and also collect information from the different sources related to the Holocaust. So your expectations for today is to make sure that your project is organized, knowledge of the context, you know what you're talking about, you have studied, you have do your research, and the volume of your voice is loud enough for all the students to listen to what you're presenting. Delivery, delivery means you're not rushing throughout the project. You're trying to pace and take it slow enough for everybody to understand what you're talking about. And finally, your project looks clean and presentable and ready. So any questions before we start presenting? Okay, so let's start.
The first book I read was The Number on My Grandfather's Arm. It was about a man coming to his daughter's house to watch his granddaughter while his daughter and his what's that called? His son-in-law. So they went out and he came and he watched her and they had to do the dishes. And he would always wear a jacket over his long sleeve shirt. He would never show his arms. And then when he went to do the dishes, he took off his jacket and rolled up his sleeves. And the granddaughter saw the number on his arm and asked what it was. And the mother was like, I think it's time you told her. So the mother and father went out, and then he sat her down on the couch and told her that the Nazis took over the part of Poland that he was from and put him in the Auschwitz death camp. Him, his friends, and his family were all sent to that camp, but all of them were killed in the gas chambers except for him. He was the one that made it out. The book didn't tell me how he made it out. It just told me that he was the only survivor out of all his friends and family. And yeah, that was the first book. That was him and his granddaughter and the number in the book. The second book I read was Star of Fear, Star of Hope. It was about a girl named Helen and her friend Lydia stayed the night at her house for her birthday so she could celebrate it in the morning. Her mother and father went out to go to work, and they were telling scary stories in the dark when Helen's mother and father were out. During those stories, in the middle when they were telling the stories, a woman named Madam 11 O'Clock knocked on the next door neighbor's door. They heard her knock because she was knocking so loudly. She was knocking in a panic, like somebody was after her. So nobody answered, so she ran back down the stairwell. And an hour later, at midnight, the midnight ghost showed up at Helen's door, mistaking it for the neighbor's door. He was knocking and it was like, it's the midnight ghost, come on, open up, they're after me. They were both really, really scared. And then Lydia, the Jew, wanted to go home when Helen's parents returned because they were explaining what had happened. And during this, she was thinking. And then out of nowhere, she said, I want to go home. Helen told Lydia that since she said, but it's my birthday. Has anyone forgotten that? Because what was going on? And Lydia was like, no, I haven't forgotten. And she handed her a present. Now, it didn't look like this present. That's the plainest present we could find. It was just a brown bag with some string tied around it. But Lydia gave her the birthday present, but Helen said she doesn't care and that since she wasn't there to celebrate her birthday in the morning, then they weren't friends anymore. Lydia hadn't said anything, and when she walked down the stairs, her father came back and said she was safely home. They never saw her again. They went to her house in the morning because in the morning, Helen was awoken by noise outside. It was a whole bunch of people with the star on their jackets and carrying suitcases and getting loaded on trains. And they went to Lydia's house to see if she was all right, but nobody was there, and it said for sale on her door. And they never saw them again. So, they died. I did a slide on concentration camps. So some of the concentration camps I had a question. Miss Cologne told me just to put it in my presentation and do research on it when I got home. So my question was, when Hitler died, did the concentration camp stop because his reign of power was done? Well, I looked up some things, and it said some concentration camps were liberated before Hitler's death. For example, the Auschwitz, one of the most famous death camps, was liberated by the Red Army on January 27, 1945, 3 months before Hitler's death. This was the entrance, and these were the gas chambers, and the inside and everything. But however, I don't know how to say that word, but that concentration camp wasn't liberated until May 5th, 5 days after Hitler committed suicide. So, now Adolf Hitler. He was born April 20th, 1898 in Austria. So he wasn't born in Germany, he moved. Is Austria in Germany? Well, he was born in Austria. He had 5 siblings, but only one of them made it out of childhood, along with Hitler. The rest died of disease and things that were spreading around Austria at that time. He had 2 step-siblings. He was the second born out of 4. So he had 2 step-siblings, 1 brother and 1 sister. His parents and siblings called him Baby as a child. His father, Alois Hitler, denied him of his dreams of being an artist. Hitler went to art school. He wanted to go to art school, but his father said it's a waste of money and time. You need to go into the army and you need to find, what's that word? No, yeah, that, but it's, first with a D. Discipline. You need to find discipline. Now, please, this wasn't my idea, but please take a moment of silence for all of the Holocaust victims.